Hello everyone, welcome yet again to the river of Yamuna. And today, right now, I'm at the Nigamboध Ghat doing an explanatory story to discussing with you. It's about the 9-part series that the New Indian Express brought along the river's troubled course, uncovering the truth behind industrial discharge, encroachments, religious excesses, and bureaucratic failures. From courtroom to colonies and from sludge to sacred rituals and policy paralysis to resilient children, we have done a lot of stories in the past 9 days. I'm Ifra Mufti from the New Indian Express and I have with me Prabhat Shukla, and we're going to be explaining what we all did and what we all experienced in the past 9 days in a 9-part series. So Prabhat, starting with you, we did a lot of things. We took different angles on the Yamuna, that how it has turned black, and there were a lot of reasons we gave about the demolition over it and the dependence on the Yamuna and the agricultural families. In fact, you were a part of it and you actively did a lot of stories. So what was your feedback and how would you rate this experience?
I'm sure you know that this river is extremely important for Delhi, for the water resources, and like so many livelihoods depend upon it. And I think it's pretty obvious we can say if this river wasn't there, then this city wouldn't exist. So, there's so many people dependent on like the river for agriculture or their daily water needs for washing and everything. But this river, I'm sure you can see it's not at all clean. It's a lot cleaner than it usually is because of monsoon rains.
Thanks
and
to monsoon, yes.
The flow of the river has increased and new water is coming in from Uttarakhand. But it's usually completely black and you can smell it from 2 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So
and thankfully today the stench is not there.
The stench is not there, but this is
the first day when we started with the story 9 days ago exactly. I was at the same ghat in the same boat, and the water was exactly black in color. In fact, we took it in a bottle and to check it for ourselves. The water was black. It was stinking so bad. But today, thankfully, the brown. I can actually touch the water today. It's not that bad. So this is something. Probably thanks to the monsoon in the past 3-4 days.
But this is obviously temporary.
Yeah,
the real state of the river is what you saw the other day. It's black, and it's. The DDA has this new project which they plan on redeveloping the entire stretch of the river and something along the lines of the Sabarmati in Ahmedabad to make it beautiful, to make it walkable, bikeable. But even if they do manage to do all that, clean up the ghats and make it lively and green and tourist friendly, but the river itself, if it remains this dirty and it smells this bad, people won't want to come near it. Who would want to take a walk or a stroll along with their family on a weekend if the river is smelling so bad? So before we get into all those projects and develop the Yamuna plains, we have to clean up the Yamuna, and there's so many different sources of pollution. Obviously there's sewage flowing directly into the river, untreated sewage, and multiple big drains like the Najafgarh drain, and they just directly flow into the river. It's not like it's rainwater or flowing into the river, it's sewage, and that's just one of the reasons. Then there's chemical waste, waste from industries. The government has taken a lot of action on the larger factories, but the smaller informal ones, like we also did a story on illegal dyeing units. There are hundreds and hundreds of dyeing units in the periphery of Delhi and Ghaziabad and Noida. And they just discharge all of their chemical directly into the river. There's no treatment whatsoever. We have drone footages, and this is all recorded in court and NGT documents. So there are so many different ways the river is being polluted. It has been declared dead. Recently there was a paper from the Center of Science and Environment that declared the stretch of the Yamuna that goes through Delhi is ecologically dead. So, you can't fish here and eat the fish that comes out of this. It's not a good idea. But then again, there's so many things still being grown based on this water. Like along the entire floodplains of the Yamuna in Delhi. There are people who grow vegetables, mostly vegetables, not other crops, but a lot of the vegetables you see in the market, the larger markets, a lot of it comes from outside, but a significant portion is locally grown. And by locally we mean on the floodplains of the Yamuna. There's no other green place in Delhi, where you can grow it, and they use this water, which is not right for this kind of thing, and that's what we eat.
Right.
So, but again, there are people dependent on the river for even that. So cleaning it is extremely important, but at the same time, most experts believe that, I mean, they're very pessimistic. All the experts I've talked to, they're extremely pessimistic about if this river ever being clean enough to, I mean, a lot of the new state leadership, they've promised that they'll make the river clean enough to swim, but that seems completely impossible. At least it should be safe enough to, at least come near it, but this is a far off thing. But as of now, this river remains what you see, completely dirty.
Okay, coming down to a very important point, which I believe, because Yamuna is something which is related to religion, right? It's according to religious mythology, this river is considered to be very holy, right? So, what do you think, Prabhat? Like, on going on a religious factor, that has it actually kind of helped Yamuna, or has it actually choked the river Yamuna?
I mean, obviously, it has a lot of significance. You can see a temple right there. There are multiple temples along the river. I mean, we saw several while coming in here.
Right.
So obviously, it has a lot of religious significance.
And there's just a crematorium right
There's
here.
just a crematorium. That's another very culturally significant place.
Right.
So it's obviously very important in Hindu culture and religion, the river. Almost as important as Ganga. So, and obviously during many religious festivals, I mean, especially Chhat Puja, there's a lot of stuff that is left into the river, and like obviously that's not very good. But I mean, in the larger scheme of things, I don't think that's going to play a very big role in polluting the river.
Right.
But what it can do is, because of the religious significance, people can rally behind cleaning up this river. I mean, if you want to be optimistic, I mean, it's always had religious significance, but it's still so dirty now. So, but that is one rallying point that the new government is using to urge people to, participate in, cleaning up the river. But at the end of the day, it's a government's decision. They have to clean up the sewage and make better and more STPs, sewage treatment plants, to make sure that there's crack down on illegal dyeing units and other chemical waste going into the river. Without that, like, not much is going to happen.
So what about the health risks? Considering the fact that people do, kind of take a dip in this holy water considerably, but when as compared to the other ministers coming in, and in fact 4 months ago when we did a video, we in fact said that there was one minister who came at the ITO part and he kind of tasted the water, and the next day he was in the hospital. So I mean, it doesn't happen with anybody else, or is it actually a major health risk factor in Delhi?
I mean, obviously this river, if it's not clean enough for crops to grow out of it, then you cannot drink it or make any other use of it. I mean, obviously the Jal Board draws water from the Yamuna, and obviously it requires a lot of treatment before it can be safe to drink.
That's right.
But even then, most people wouldn't drink the water that the Jal Board provides. They go for mineral water or purified water. But as for other purposes, I'm sure it's not fit to use for other purposes as well. But there are communities living alongside the river which use this water for all of their purposes. I mean, we just saw them.
It's a picnic spot also.
But I mean, I'm not sure if there are many other examples. I mean, at least in North India, but the river, I mean, it can be a lot cleaner. I mean, the example that DDA is using, the Sabarmati in Ahmedabad, I mean, it's a long way before this river can get that clean.
Right. वो सर्दियों में कहाँ से बोट्स आती हैं, सॉरी बर्ड्स आती हैं?
साइबेरिया के पक्षी होते हैं, वाइट होते हैं. आप उनको अगर फूड डालेंगे, पानी के ऊपर से भी फूड उठाएंगे, आपके हाथ के ऊपर से भी.
Okay, so we did a lot of stories also on the demolition. Now there are a lot of people who were staying on the banks of Yamuna, and they were dependent on the agriculture, and probably they didn't have any land, but they were staying there. They had small slum areas, and they had kind of built their homes earlier. And in the past so many years, and we have seen them. But now the government has kind of come down to demolish all of these slum alongside the Yamuna. So what is the program? What is the idea behind doing all of these things? Where are they going? Where are these people going to go?
I mean, I mean, the DDA draws on orders from the NGT and other bodies that say that Yamuna Plain should be free from all encroachments. I mean, it should be a green zone. Right. I mean, where if the river floods, then there's water to seep into. Like there's space for the water to go, and it doesn't directly flow into the city, and like it did in 2023. Yeah. So the order is pretty clear, and the rationale behind moving everyone away from it is strong. Yeah. But these people who have, I mean, they rely on, I mean, they grow crops there. I mean, they don't even own land, but they have, I mean, these are helpless people. They're migrants from other states. They move in and they rent this land from, I mean, if the DDA is clear that all the land in the floodplains is owned by the DDA. Nobody owns it. But there are people who claim alongside Mayur Vihar in the Yamuna Khadar area that they claim that that's their ancestral land. They farmed there for years. And then there are new people who've come in and taken those on rent, and that's their livelihood. So, I mean, and I've talked to several of these families, and then they say that they're constantly under threat by DDA, and they're always removed. And the DDA always says the same thing, that the floodplains must be free of encroachment. But how much of that is encroachment? Because it's just a few juggies and crops growing. But experts I've talked to say the biggest encroacher on the floodplains is the DDA itself. I mean, they have the land, and they all. I mean, you can look at the Commonwealth Games complex behind Akshardham, and a lot of the ghats, they've been concretized. And experts always say, if you concretize it, then water won't seep into it. The purpose is defeated. So it should be free from all of that concrete, and it's the DDA who's doing the concretization. Not
and this encroachment example, I'm sorry I'm interrupting, but the best example is the next, where we can see the Vasudev Ghat. They have kind of made it so beautiful, like with all the encroachments possible. They have made small structures, the elephants and all of those things have been made. And I believe we have done a lot of reports from the NGT and also the Stand Up, the NGOs which are working to make the Yamuna survive. I think that's including Stand Up also. So they have also made a report saying that all of these things, making illegal in structures, these are all illegal, and probably they are harming the flow of the Yamuna. So probably because of the monsoon, we can see the water moving, but in the past 9 days, the water was so stable and was so black, and we could see, and everyone was saying that it's just because of all of these structures which are made on the water. Just because of that, the flow has been affected badly.
I mean, one of the reasons for the floods in 2023 was a lot of concretization and encroachment in the plains. I mean, there were concrete blocks for all these bridges being built, multiple bridges along for metro and for other things, and those concrete blocks were dropped close to the ghats, and that's what caused I mean, obviously there was unusual flow, unusually high flow, but these are the things that make the river not sustainable, and it's not the poor people who are leaving these concrete blocks in the river. So at the end of the day, it's the government that is responsible for that.
Right. So we have spoken about all sorts of pollution which has kind of spoiled the entire river. What about these bridges? You know, we can see from here the metro bridges, the railway bridges there right behind us, and then there are the roads are there where people stand and actually literally throw all of their polythenes and whatever they have in their hands in the river. So what about that? Can the government kind of initiate any action on them? They can be barricaded, but there are a lot of bridges which are barricaded, but the barricades are also broken, and people literally bring garbages and a lot of things, irrespective of anything. They come here and just stand over the bridge and they throw it. In fact, there's a religious point also, because when the trains cross over that railway bridge where we can see behind us, people throw coins also. That's what I have seen. Probably last time we were there right under the bridge, and we actually saw people throwing coins and religious stuff from the trains, and because there are children standing just right there, and they collect money also, and that's how their earning comes from. They're like one of the students, in fact not a student, but an 11-year-old guy who was standing there. He said, in fact, he shared a very interesting story that how he manages to earn 600 rupees a day just from the money that's kind of falling from the train. So demolition we have talked about, and then the journeys of children we come down to. The lot of children who lives in the Yamuna, Prabhat. In fact, we started with this story. You know, that's a color story that we did, like how children of Yamuna have grown up. like they have been there for a very long time. They're not going to school, but from the very starting initial ages of when they turn 5 or 6, they kind of are made to go free in the river, and they dig down, and in fact they are made to kind of collect a lot of things from the ashes also, and the cremains, and sometimes they manage to find out gold rings and the silver bracelets, anklets. There's a lot of interesting things that they find out. Prabhat, you did a lot of, in fact, one special story that you did was on the NGOs and a lot of people who come forward and who are helping Yamuna to survive. So, what are those people saying, in fact, and what is their feedback on the Yamuna? Is there a solution to it? Can we see a cleaner Yamuna in the future?
I mean, a lot of the good work that has been done in the last few years is not from the government, but from these activists and NGOs. There's this person called Varun Gulati. Okay. He has been filing multiple petitions in the high courts and NGT about those illegal dyeing units I was talking about. Yeah. And he's he's been trying to spot them using drones and notify the Delhi Pollution Control Committee or the MCD, and I mean, as much as he can. I mean, according to him, everyone's aware where all these dyeing units are, but nobody seems to take action. But he's managed to get over 100 of these units closed through orders from the NGT or the Supreme Court. Okay. So there are people who are trying to, do something to get this river to become at least like habitable, at least. And then there's activists, like you were talking about, all those garbage that is thrown into the river. Right. And there's this one particular group called Earth Warrior, and they conduct this weekly drives near Kalindakunj. I mean, Kalindakunj is a place where I'm sure you would have seen all those dramatic photos and videos of the foaming up of the river. Yeah. And that's where they conduct their weekly cleaning drive. And it's all completely volunteer based. So people who have normal corporate jobs, students, they volunteer to come and clean it up every Thursday. Yeah. So that's their time. And it's not just that. These groups go and visit and check up on the STPs, whether the water flowing out of these treatment plants is actually clean. I mean, they conduct those tests. They follow up on DPCC's monthly reports to see how the STPs are doing. So, and then they report back to the courts. So if nobody's keeping tabs on all those authorities that are supposed to keep this river clean, I mean, they're not going to do it. So so there are people working on it, and it's through their effort that some good work is done. So if common citizens, if even a small percentage of the common citizens of this city just join in this process, then it'll be a lot better.
Maybe, yeah. So last story that we have worked on is that this area can be probably, I mean, it's the only place till the time Purana Killa opened in the recent few days for the boating. I mean, this is one area, I think, in Delhi where you can come and enjoy a boating ride. In winter, it becomes a very crowded place because there are a lot of birds which come from outside. Crowded place, it becomes so white, and the water is invisible, as he says, so people cannot see. The foreigners come here for a boat ride. So winter is the best time to visit here. नदी के भी लोग शूट कराने आते हैं अपने बोट में? अच्छा, तो कितने टूरिस्ट आ जाते हैं उस टाइम पे? मुझे लगता है सर्दी के टाइम पे आपने बताया था कि लोगों को प्रॉब्लम
कंट्री के लोग आते हैं, अमेरिका, जापान, थाईलैंड, वियतनाम।
हाँ, तो कितनी कमाई हो जाती है उस दौरान आपकी?
उस समय 2003 पर डे के
हिसाब से हो जाती है। So this video, I believe we have managed to bring you closer to the Yamuna series. We have covered in the past 9 days. I request everyone to check all our stories which are on the website, and keep following us for more updates. Signing off, Ikra Murthy and Prabhat Shukla. Thank you so much.